So today I woke up, did some homework, ate some breakfast, went to church, came back, and resumed on homework, not even thinking about this game. As a Michigan fan, I confess that I thought we were going to lose. Ohio State was favored by 6. They seemed to have somewhat righted the ship against Michigan State. Michigan had a demoralizing blowout loss to Iowa at home. I just didn't feel right. For me as a Michigan fan, it's safer to pick us to lose on the road against a halfway decent team. Not that the Buckeyes, especially today, proved they are that good by any means. Michigan was down by 7 at the half, and then I don't know how Ohio State did this or what even happened in that locker room, but Michigan at some point went on a massive run that was like a 19-6 run in the half, and in total outscored the Buckeyes 45-32 in the second half in Ohio State's own home stadium. Michigan is 2-0 for the last, I think, 2 years at Columbus, which, if you're an Ohio State fan, is pretty unacceptable. Michigan hasn't really beaten Ohio State in consecutive years in basketball in ages, and what sucks too is it comes the same year that Michigan won in football. I think this is the first year in a while, and it's a testament to Ohio State's dominance in not just football, but in basketball too. It's been the first time in a while that Michigan, if you combine the basketball and football records thus far, has a winning record. And this isn't me, crapping on Ohio State or insulting them or burning them. I try to be clean and try and be sportsmanlike. And if there's a bad loss to my team, it can sometimes get a little icky. But this was icky if you were an Ohio State fan. It was terrible. Michigan, in the second half, completely changed up their game plan. Ohio State lost to Michigan, who was without their head coach and who was without arguably their best player in Hunter Dickinson, which is insane. And I didn't even know, because once again, I really didn't care about this game until I started watching it about 5 minutes in. And at some point I figured out, oh wait, Dickinson's out. And yet Michigan still won. I don't understand how that happens once again, but this game was, to me as a Michigan fan, let's talk about it from the Michigan perspective and discuss Michigan here for a minute, and then we'll get to Ohio State and what this means and everything. So for Michigan, here's the story for Michigan. Michigan probably clinched their spot in the Big Dance. Michigan is likely going to go to March Madness. They got a win on the road against another decent opponent, and that just beefs up their resume. They're 11-9 in the Big Ten, 17-13 overall. As long as I'd say they win one game in the Big Ten tournament, which you never know with how unstable and volatile this team is, but it shouldn't be a huge challenge. They're not projected to match up with anyone relatively good or even decent in, I think, what it would be the second round of the Big Ten tournament. So as long as Michigan gets to 18-13 at some point, their ticket to March Madness should be completely punched. And with how chaotic the Big Ten seems to be right now, maybe they can win more than a game. Michigan, for me, from my perspective watching, made every possible clutch, momentum-changing, or halting if the momentum was on the side of Ohio State. They made what they needed to make to win in every possible moment. Michigan, let me check the stats. For free throws, they went 11 of 11. As compared to Ohio State's 12 of 18. And Ohio State missed some free throws that, once again, 100% versus 66% is pretty big. But Michigan always made clutch free throws at the end, to prevent Ohio State from possibly tying the game and bringing it to overtime. Michigan shot 41% field goals, which is not, great by any means. But it's enough to get the job done. Same thing with from 3. Michigan shot 38% from 3. And it's 38% once again. Ohio State actually outshot Michigan. A huge difference was free throws and turnovers and rebounds, specifically offensive rebounds. But anyway, we're just talking about Michigan here for the time being. A lot of Michigan's threes were in moments where it completely shifted momentum. Like, I think maybe it was Kobe Bufkin at the end, or someone shot a three to extend the game, extend Michigan's lead with around a minute left. That was a momentum locking three. Michigan made several of those. Michigan made several great plays despite their low field goal percentage. Devontae Jones, when he went up for that layup, that was a very acrobatic movement, I guess is just the best way to put it. Went down with an injury. That was an amazing play, and a play that helped extend Michigan's lead, keep the gas going, keep the foot on the gas. Was good. And Michigan also 13 offensive rebounds to Ohio State 7 and 22 defensive rebounds. Michigan also with 11 steals. Ohio State, I don't know. Again, maybe it's just Ohio State falling off in February, which seems to have been what has happened. But Michigan was just taking the ball out of Ohio State's hands. They had really good defense. They took advantage of Ohio State's mistakes. It just is what it is. And to me as a Michigan fan, it was beautiful. It was I was so excited, and I was nervous too, because when Ohio State would make those, when they would have runs of themselves, like they had a 7-0 run toward the end of the game, you get frightened because as a Michigan fan, I've seen plenty of those stories before, blowing leads, whether it's in basketball, whether it's in football, wherever. It didn't happen though. So Michigan, you're onto the big dance. You're likely in the tournament. You can make some noise in the Big Ten, definitely, if you play the way that you've been playing under Phil Martelli in most of your games. Even in the Illinois game, only losing to Illinois by, I think, 5 points. The Iowa game was truly the only terrible game, at least from what I could tell, that we played. This team can make some noise in the Big Ten tournament. I don't, of course, see them making it far into March Madness, but at least they aren't missing March Madness. Now to talk about Ohio State. And this is, if you're an Ohio State fan, tell me down below what you feel. And I know that there are plenty of you because your massive fan base. I actually have a huge part of you who are a part of my sub base. I think you're probably the largest fan base in my subscriber group, if I'm to be honest. So tell me down below how you feel, because I cannot imagine it's good, because I can relate to you. I've experienced this before, and I am filled with nothing but rage. Blowing a lead, really blowing a big lead. I mean, going into that half 37-30 for the close game it was in the early first half, that was a big lead going into that half. You had the momentum. Your team was excited. Now, again, you yourself have seen this different times throughout the year. This team, this Ohio State team, to me, in the past few games that I've watched them, seems to be streaky. So you never know, but still you feel good. Michigan's not that good of a team. They're not always good at fighting adversity and whatnot, but still, this has to be frustrating. And I know it is. You outshot Michigan in field goals. Shot 48% of them. The difference is you only had 50 field goal attempts. Michigan had 68, so at the end of the day, they actually make more field goals. You have about the same amount of three-point shot attempts that they do, 22 of them, compared to Michigan's 21, and you make another, so you shoot 40% from three. The free throws kill you. They killed you, 66%. There was a free throw shot where I'm bad with these players' names because I'm not huge into basketball, but this game is still worth reacting to. But someone missed 2 of their free throws in a row. I forget who it is, but someone missed 2 of their free throws in a row. You can't have that. You cannot have that and win in a close game. You just can't. Michigan out-rebounded you, specifically offensively, getting some second-chance points. You cannot have that either in a close game. Michigan had 5 more assists than you did. Again, you had 2 steals. Michigan had 11. 11. 11. You had 13 turnovers to their 6. You had 10 fouls to their 14, but at the end of the game, your lack of fouls actually didn't help you in a certain degree. You had to keep fouling, keep burning time to get Michigan to the free throw. I mean, for Ohio State in that second half, nothing went right. Turnovers, I think it was Diabate stripping the ball out of one of your players' hands and then running it back to set up what was probably a score. Again, more of a football guy. I'm getting into basketball, but still, from what I see, this is just a disappointing game. Absolute disappointment. Devontae Jones led Michigan with 21 points. He was 9 of 16 with his field goals. He was a good player. Branham, not Liddell, led Ohio State. He had 18 points, 6 out of 11 field goals, 5 of 7 for free throws. Turnovers was the main thing for Ohio State today. They had 13 turnovers. Michigan had 11 steals, which means yet again, Ohio State, this is normally a football term, but Ohio State frankly struggled with ball security from just seeing how many times Michigan stole it away or got close rebounds that Ohio State was, they were in the right area, but they didn't have the same physicality. Michigan just with an impressive win. Ohio State continues their skid, their only win, and I think their past 4 games, maybe longer or around that. Guaranteed their past 3, their only win is against Michigan State, losing to Michigan and Nebraska, who right now is beating Wisconsin by 4. Nebraska is seemingly a hot team right now, but still. This is what I wanted to say. This is my reaction to this game. I mean, I'm a Michigan fan myself. This team will probably not reach the Sweet 16. They'll probably be lucky even to reach to the round of 32, just knowing their play. And I don't know. They'd be lucky to reach the Sweet 16. And Ohio State the same way. And Chris Holtmann, this definitely calls into question Chris Holtmann as a basketball head coach. I think he's been at Ohio State for 5 years. They haven't won a single Big Ten regular season title or tournament title. They've fallen pretty far from what Thad Matta had in his early to mid years. And even though I am not a basketball person, and I just have to mention that because I don't want to act like I'm, an expert, but still, I know basketball history. There are things that I definitely know. This is not Ohio State basketball. And this year for Michigan has not been Michigan basketball either. And that's really all I have to say for this video. If you're a Michigan fan, you're happy. You've punched your ticket to March Madness. If you're an Ohio State fan, you lost to a rival, which now, unless you meet again in the Big Ten tournament, has the last laugh. It's the final regular season game. It was senior day too, which is, a further sting. And this team just continues its skid. Ohio State and Michigan State have certainly skid off from what, they once were about a month and a half to 2 months ago, which is, to me, crazy. Michigan's still a very inconsistent team. The Big Ten in itself is just a chaotic basketball group. That's all I have to say for this video. Again, if you liked it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and comment your thoughts on this game down below. Thank you all for watching. I'll be doing more of these basketball reactions, probably during the Big Ten tournament and some during March Madness, mainly covering, Ohio State, Michigan State, the Big Ten teams who are not only bigger, but that also have a fan base connection to my subscriber group. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys around. Bye.